Good evening, everyone. This is Juan, your host. Tonight on Social Media Today, we will showcase Twitter. Sarah will begin by talking about how journalists use Twitter to their advantage. Kirby will follow by discussing how the average Joes use Twitter. Speaking of which, Joe will talk about how companies use Twitter for their advantage. And now Sarah with her insight.
According to Read Write Web, a social media technology news site, they use Twitter for journalism in 4 ways. Number 1, discussing breaking news. Number 2, performing interviews. Number 3, quality assurance. And number 4, the promotion of their work. Twitter is the place for breaking news because people find it easier to post a quick tweet rather than sit down and write a blog entry. Read Write Web used the example of how news of the earthquakes in Japan and China were on Twitter before the government or major news agencies could report it. In terms of doing interviews, they find that a wide range of people reply to questions they post. They're able to measure public opinion more easily and gather full comments. It also helps with accuracy and quality of information because Twitter is a good medium for quick reader feedback. Finally, it can be used to attract people to the website with a particularly interesting post, and if there is a really good story coming up, they sometimes will hype it up to create a lot of interest.
Thank you, Sarah. Next up is Kirby discussing the advantages of Twitter for the average person.
There are a number of ways the average person can use Twitter to their advantage. One of the more obvious is keeping in touch with friends and loved ones. Stating what you are doing or just what's on your mind may not be urgent enough to call or text all of your friends, but by tweeting it, you open up the opportunity to strike up a conversation with all those who found what you said to be interesting, without bothering those that didn't. There are also far more practical uses for Twitter that the average person can take advantage of. For example, oftentimes in the school system, grades and test scores don't necessarily need to be kept confidential. In these cases, Twitter can be used to quickly inform students of how well they've done. People can also use Twitter to keep up to date with local Amber Alerts, school closings, and emergencies. In summation, Twitter can be very useful in keeping you up to date with all the things that you care about.
Very well said, Kirby. Now Joe will end the discussion by explaining how companies benefit from Twitter.
With technology on the brink of explosion, companies have begun to use social media tools as a means of profit. Companies have stepped into the 21st century and have begun utilizing Web 2.0 through social media sites. Twitter is a prime example of this. According to Business Week's writer Raquel King, companies use Twitter to bolster their brand. Some companies, such as Dell, GM, H&R Block, Kodak, to say a few, have used Twitter to keep a constant tab on their brand and offer assistantship to their customers. Companies such as GM consider Twitter a social media site that can deliver business value. In addition, Twitter is also used by some companies as a means of transparency. CEO Tony Sees of Zappos believes that by interacting with his customers through Twitter, his company image enhances. C also encourages his employees to use Twitter as a means of creating a cohesive corporate identity. Marketing professionals Daily Fix believe that company market use Twitter as a means of extending their businesses, announcing sales and deals, building supporters for their brand, building buzz for their companies, updating any breaking news that may affect their market, or updating their network to shape their own personal branding. As you can recap, companies have used Twitter as a means of branding. Twitter has been utilized as a tracking, interacting, and business profitable brand.
Sarah, Kirby, and Joe have illustrated the many uses of Twitter. By constantly twittering, Twitters are helping each other out by networking as frequently as they do. I want to thank my listeners for tuning in on another episode of Social Media Today. This is Juan saying tune in next time.